You're watching a horror movie. You tell yourself, it's just a film, but your body doesn't believe you. Your heart is pounding, your hands feel a little sweaty. Every shadow in the room suddenly looks different. Then, bam! The jump scare hits. You flinch, you might even laugh nervously, but deep down, you feel it, that rush of adrenaline. And here's the weird part, you like it. Why? Why do we choose to be scared? Why do we pay money to watch things that make us jump, scream, and sleep with the lights on? Well, science has an answer, and it's more fascinating than you think. Today, we're diving into the psychology of horror, exploring what happens inside your brain when you watch a scary movie and why, despite everything, you keep coming back for more. Fear isn't just an emotion, it's a survival instinct. The moment you sense danger, your amygdala, the brain's fear center, kicks into high gear. It floats your body with adrenaline and cortisol, preparing you to fight, freeze, or flee. But here's where things get weird. Horror movies trick your brain into reacting as if the danger is real. In a study at the University of Turku, Finland, scientists used fMRI scans to monitor people watching horror films. The results? Their first circuits lit up just like in real-life danger, but their prefrontal cortex reminded them they were safe. So we experience the thrill of fear without the risk. It's like riding a roller coaster. Your body screams, "We're gonna die," while your brain reassures you, "Now we're good." And that contrast, the balance of fear and safety, is what makes horror movies so addictive. Ever noticed how after a horror movie you feel energized? Like you just survived something? That's because of a psychological trick called the excitation transfer effect. Psychologist Dolf Zillmann found that when we experience fear, our body releases a surge of adrenaline and endorphins. But here's the twist. When the fear ends, that energy doesn't just disappear. It transforms into excitement. That's why people love roller coasters, haunted houses, and extreme sports. Your body confuses fear with pleasure. So the next time someone says, "Why would you watch something so scary?" Tell them, "Because my brain loves the rush." Not everyone enjoys horror. Some of us crave it. Others can't even watch a trailer without covering their eyes. A study from the University of Westminster found that horror fans tend to have higher sensation-seeking traits. These are people who love intense experiences, skydiving, fast cars, adventure. Their brains need more stimulation to feel excitement. Meanwhile, those who avoid horror movies tend to have higher baseline anxiety or more empathy, making fear feel too real. So which one are you? The thrill seeker or the one who sleeps with the lights on? Here's a fun fact. Horror movies can actually make people fall in love. In 1974, psychologists Dutton and Aaron did a famous experiment. They had men cross two different bridges, one stable, one high and terrifying. At the end, a woman gave them her phone number. The results? The men on the scary bridge were far more likely to call her later. Why? Because their bodies mistook the adrenaline from fear for romantic attraction. That's why horror movies are such a popular date night choice. Fear triggers arousal, making people feel closer. So if you want to impress someone, maybe skip the rom-com and pick a horror movie instead. Believe it or not, horror movies might actually be good for you. Psychologist Dr. Colton Scrivener, who studies morbid curiosity, found that horror movies help us practice fear in a safe environment. They train our brains to handle stress, making us less anxious in real life. In fact, during the COVID-19 pandemic, horror fans handled stress better than others. Their brains were already used to processing fear and staying calm. So watching horror isn't just entertainment, it's mental training. While horror movies can be thrilling and even provide some psychological benefits, there's a dark side to all that fear. So, can watching too many horror films actually affect your mental health? The short answer is yes, it can, if you're not careful. When you constantly expose yourself to intense fear, especially in extreme horror genres, your brain can become overloaded with stress. Studies have shown that excessive exposure to violent or scary content can increase anxiety levels, disrupt sleep patterns, and even lead to nightmares or paranoia. In particular, if you already suffer from anxiety or post-traumatic stress, too much horror can exacerbate symptoms. For some people, it can cause hypervigilance, where your mind stays on alert for perceived dangers long after the movie ends. But it's not all bad news. Just like with anything, moderation is key. Horror movies can be a safe way to confront fear in controlled doses. But if you're constantly watching or feeling unnerved after a film, it might be time to take a break and let your mind reset. So enjoy those jump scares, but remember to balance them with moments of calm and peace. So, how can you tell if you've crossed the line into watching too much horror? Here are a few signs. First, increased anxiety. You feel nervous long after the movie ends, like every sound around you is suspicious. Second, trouble sleeping. If you can't sleep after a horror film, your body's fight or flight response might still be active. Third, nightmares. If you're having disturbing dreams after watching, it could be a sign of too much horror. Fourth, blurring fiction and reality. If you start feeling uneasy in familiar places, it may be time for a break. Fifth, emotional numbing. If horror no longer excites you and you need more extreme content for thrill, your brain might be craving stronger stimulation. So, now that we have explored the psychology behind why we love horror and how it affects us, remember, it's all about balance. Horror can be thrilling, mind-expanding, and even good for you when enjoyed in moderation. But, as with anything alive, too much of a good thing can turn bad. If you want to learn more about the psychology of fear, check out my video titled Psychology of Fear on my channel. I dive deeper into how fear works on a neurological level and how we can use it to grow stronger, both mentally and emotionally. And if you enjoyed this exploration into horror, hit the like button, subscribe for more psychological insights, and share with your fellow horror movie fans. Thanks for listening, and remember, fear is powerful, but so are you.